Let's get started now in our easy, comfortable seat. Ooh, and as a reminder, please make sure you're always bringing the makeshift strap, whether it's a scarf, a belt, and something like a heavy book if you don't have a block at home. We'll get started in our easy, comfortable seat, not pressing up through our low back. Really mindful that as you find length, you're not doing it by inflating your chest and pressing into the low back. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, take a little check-in with your low back. We tend to put almost like a dip as we find that really good posture. That's the last thing we want. No dip. Very, very natural. Shoulders are relaxed. Muscles and face are soft. We're inhaling. Inhale's lifting us up taller. Exhaling tension from the face. Monday morning. In studio, I teach both Monday mornings, and sometimes we talk about setting an intention not just for the practice, but the day or the week. Maybe you intend to put a space between you and your feelings when things start to get overwhelming. Maybe you want to come into the week with some peace or some calm. Whatever would serve you best. Breathing it down deep into the body. Let's get started. One more big inhale. Sigh out, exhale. Right ear, right shoulder. Chin across. Left to left. Chin across. All half circles. Holding wherever you need an extra pause. For me, that always tends to be the side, so when that ear meets shoulder. And then maybe adding full circles, looking up. If you're taking full circles, reverse the direction. Then inhale your head up tall, find some length again. Maybe a little sigh out, exhale. Inhale brings hands up. We're going to take left hand, right knee, and right hand behind. We're going to look over the shoulder. Inhaling and lifting. Exhaling, twisting, maintaining lots of length in your spine. I use this back hand, this right hand, as a kickstand of sorts to find lots of length. The left hand pressing against the knee, a little leverage. It's a simple twist, but you can make a lot out of it as you look over your shoulder. For me, it's a big wake up in the neck and even the backs of my shoulders. Let's inhale our tallest spine, exhale our biggest twist. And then inhale to bring the hands overhead. So same thing, opposite side. Right hand, right knee, left hand to kickstand, keeping spine lifted. Big inhale. The exhale, look over the shoulder. Keep the core engaged. That'll help you release your back. And stick around one more round of breath. Big inhale. Exhale, big twist. Unwind, hands overhead. Take the hands to the mat. Take a little tip right to your table with fingers spread nice and wide. Elbows are soft. Let's keep waking up the spine. Exhaling and arch. And inhaling to lift. Really slow your breathing down and go deeper into these two poses. Alright, one more big inhale. Exhale brings you to neutral. Keeping the knees stacked over the hips, my favorite. The hair pose. We're really going to wake up the space between our shoulders for those of us going to work after this. Top of the head to the mat. Knees facing forehead. I'm going to keep my seat lifted over my knees, but I'm going to try and walk my knees in to wake up the back of my neck. And then the reach back. So right now, today, if you take a look at me before you get into this pose, the farthest I can go back is just above my ankles. My back's just a little bit tight. It's always a bit tighter in the morning than in the evening. I'm keeping my seat lifted. The further we reach back, the more tendency we have to put our seat down, almost like we would in a child's pose. Try and keep it lifted, even if it means you're not reaching back as enough. We'll be making more space in the back of our neck and our shoulders with the lifted seat. Bring a lot of opening into the mid and the upper spine. You really want to make sure you're on the top of your head. I see a lot of people come to their foreheads. Make sure it's the top. Take your hands to the mat. Spread through your fingers. Inhale, come up. Or a little counter. Exhale, arc. Let's take one more cat, one more cow. Inhale, up. Exhale, arc. Fingers spread. Give the toes a curl, give the seat a lift, find downward facing. A little press of your chest to your legs, sort of acting as a counter. Alright, take the right hand, find the outside of the left leg. We're going to come into one more back opening twist. I always tell you, you can shorten up your down dog for the sake of stability here. That's perfectly okay. I want you focusing on looking under your left shoulder and really opening up the space behind your right blade. Though the whole back gets a really lovely twist here. And then right hand comes down, fingers spread. Take a little pedal through the heels. And again, left to the outside of right. A little peek under the shoulder. And of course, the more you look under your armpit, the bigger the stretch. Now behind the left blade. And we'll take left hand to mat. We'll widen out our down dog. Pedal it out. Exhale, high plank. Let's just make sure our down dog has that really strong form. Seat comes back up, and now we'll go in for those deep pedals, waking up the backs of the legs. Softness in the shoulders. Connected through thumb and index finger. Let's walk up. Inhale our half lift. Knees soft. Exhale, big hinge. Maybe grab elbows or let arms hang. Release the hands and roll up. Head coming up last. All right. So we're going to keep spending some time with our shoulders. We will kind of counteract. We did a lot of back stretching. Now we're going to start opening up the stretch as we start flowing. So let's inhale, sweep up. Exhale, hinge. Come up half. High plank. We've taken one. Now we're going to add the flow. Lower. I always like coming down to the belly for this first one so we can ease into our back bends, starting with a cobra. Give the toes a curl, the seat a lift. Pedal. Take a step to the front as you exhale. Inhale, come up. Dive. Inhale all the way up. Exhale your back bend. Open up. Inhale to center. Exhale to hinge. Inhale, come up half. High plank. So this time around, I do feel ready for the chaturanga. If you're not, you can always come to the belly. Elbows in, lower. Tops of feet down, press into mat. Inhale the back bend. Toes curl. Seat lifts. Inhale, right toes up, big reach. And step foot between hands. Left foot opens, warrior one position, so toes angling toward that top left corner, hands come up. So we've spent a lot of time opening the upper back. You might feel it in the low back. Remember, it's not really about squaring your hips to the front. You can certainly play with bringing right back and left forward. More so, we want to be mindful with our knee and our low back, never forcing. Shoulders are soft. I'm going to take my hands behind, interlace my fingers, bring my knuckles to the mat. I'm going to inhale, lift my heart up, big reach. Inhale, fill. Exhale, humble warrior. Take the bow. See what I mean? Continuing to open up and make space in the spine. Inhale, fill. Exhale, frame. Pick up your left heel. Spin your left toes to the front and step your left foot behind your right. See what I did there? We've taken this twist recently. I'll turn and face. See how my pinky edges are lined up? My left knee is soft. This is what I've been having you bring a book or a block or any substitute to mat. Those couple extra inches might be the difference of a little bit of strain, having to use your fingertips, to being able to relax into the pose and open up the sides of your legs. Big inhales, releasing exhales. All right. Take a roll up. Unwind. Step it out. I'm going to leave my hook, easy access. Inhale, sweep my hands up. Exhale, hinge. Inhale, up half. high plank, and take the flow. All are halfway, elbows in, toes uncurl, feet or chest lifts up. And now see downward facing dog. Pedal, inhale, left up. Step the foot between the hands, open right foot 45 degrees. Press through the pinky edge. Hands come up. Not hyper-focused on squaring. That doesn't work for everybody. But playing just a little bit with the hips and noticing how it feels in the back and the knee. Shoulders relax. Steady feet. Fingers behind. And I love just inhaling and lifting my chest. Ooh, I got one little pop in my top back here, and that feels pretty good. Big open shoulders. Big inhale. Exhale, humble warrior. Taking the bow, making lots of space in the vertebra. And then I drop my hands and I frame. I'm going to start to straighten out my left, spinning my right toes to the front. I'm picking it up like I'm going to come into a standing split, but instead I'm just bringing my right knee behind my left knee, getting my pinky edges together. This little crossover, knees nice and soft, head hanging, and maybe balancing your hands on something, or fingertips, or even using your ankles or your shins. But try and put some space in your neck. Allow your spine to release. One of my all-time favorite transitions. And then let's roll up. With every roll up, we go a little bit faster, but never so fast that we see stars. We uncross. I always like to walk it out a couple steps for the knees, maybe tops of feet down. I'm going to get rid of my book for the time being. And let's one more time. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hinge. Inhale, half. Spread. High plank, flow, inhale, back bend, curl toes, lift seat, pedal and open. Again, right toes come out, big reach, step right foot between hands, open left 45, bring hands up. We've been here before. I don't know about you, but my back is feeling a lot looser. We started in the upper back. Now my low back is feeling that same sense of release. I'm going to interlace fingers. Just give my chest one more opening. Big inhale. Then I'm going to break the release. Hands overhead. Back to warrior one. I'm going to pick up my left heel, spin my toes to the front. I'm going to press off into my airplane pose. Pointing my toes, lowering my chest a little bit, but ultimately keeping it lifted. Right knee soft, right foot connected in heel and ball. A little balance. So we just opened our low back with the twist. Now we can press it. Take your hands to the, if you'd like, you could stay in airplane pose, or you could take your hands to heart center and try and find a warrior three. Lengthen the spine. Right knee soft. Don't grip through your toes. Use the heel of the ball. And then step back. Land on the ball. Hands overhead. Crescent lunge. Knees stacked on top of ankle. Take your hands to the heart. Inhale your chest forward. Take a twist to the right. Really waking up the back now. Press through your palms. Open up your chest. Sweep your hands back up. Ooh, my right leg's talking to me. Inhale, fill. Take your hands down, frame. Drop your left knee. Uncurl your left toes. Shift back. Right toes top, right knee soft. See how my hips are stacked over my left knee? My favorite hamstring opener here. The Hanumanasana. I have a tendency to do this pose a lot in my classes. So if you're using a book and you only have one, you can always bring it behind. Helps you keep a little bit more length in your spine, but you know it's always up to you what feels good for your body. Right knee soft. This is always such a good place, this long hold, to bring your focus back to breath. The intention you're going to take with you. For those of you playing, maybe with a fuller split, and you don't have to get anywhere near it, you could just go, I'm going to go a little longer in my right leg. How does that feel? Maybe a little longer yet. Maybe my left goes back. Maybe you're just finding your edge. Maybe you say, no way, I'm going to hang out here. This is where I'm happiest. Taking a breath. Exhaling tension out of the back of your right leg, hinging your heart over your knee. Let's take a little walk forward. Frame, stack our knee on top of our ankle, and get a little Anjaneyasana for the hip flexor. You know you never have to take your hands off the mat if this is big enough for you. Hands to knee. That's step 2. Just make sure your knee is stacked on top of your ankle. A little press through the top of your foot. Take pressure out of the knee. Soften shoulders. I'm going to add just a little back bend here, but you don't have to. Almost like you're bending over a big beach ball. Big inhale. Exhale, frame, no matter what variation you've taken. Left toes curl under, right foot steps back. Let's find our downward facing. And pedal spreading through our fingers. Inhale, left toes up. Get that nice reach going. Step left foot between. Right foot opens 45. Coming back to the warrior 1 for a reason. Checking in with our low back one more time. How's it feeling? More open by the minute, I hope. Pressing through pinky edge of that back foot. We're really working on form this morning. Strong, safe, connected form. Right hand behind. Bringing knuckles towards the mat. Inhaling into your chest. Exhaling away any thoughts unrelated to this present moment, this practice. Big inhale. Release. Bring your hands by your sides. Pick up the back right foot. Take your step off. You know your feet, you can kind of drag across the mat if that helps you steady up to this airplane pose. I'm going to try and point my right toe, my left knee stable. I'm really trying to make those connections in heel and ball. We've got the arc, that little compression in the low back. How does it feel? Inhaling, lift into the chest, drawing shoulder blades together. You could stay if this is enough balance for you. Or you could take your hands to the heart and go in for that warrior 3. Flattening the spine, reaching the toes, staying soft in the left knee. And then take your big step back. Ooh. Landing on the ball, so your heels lifted, you're in your crescent. We're sort of preparing our hips for things to come. Hands overhead, shoulders soften, hands to the heart. Inhale forward. Take your twist. Pressing through your palms, engaging your core. Big inhale. What could you twist out, ring out on the exhale? Take your hands to the mat. Frame. Drop your right knee down. Uncurl your right toes and take the shift back. Left toes popping. On your left heel, left knee soft. We'll have the opportunity to go deeper, but for right now we're going to hold and we're going to focus on our breath and on making lots of space in our hamstring. You're welcome to stay. If you were playing with going a little longer on the opposite side, it could look like just sending your foot 3 inches forward on the mat. It doesn't have to be anywhere near a full split. But maybe you're just finding a new edge. Maybe right knee comes back 1 more inch. And if you're like, no, I'm holding my half, that's a great place. Even if you never get to a full, you can't open up without spending a little time in the half. So maybe you're putting the length in, maybe you're not. We're going to stay for just 3 more rounds of breath, but make them slow and deliberate inhales and exhales. And then we'll start to make our way back to our low lunge with knees stacked on top of ankle. Again, taking the Hanumanasana anywhere that feels good for you, whether that's hands to the mat or hands on the knee. And I always like to start in one of these variations before I even try that back bend. Just a little bit of time to ease my hip and find my balance. Yogis, this is optional, but if you'd like, hands up, big reach, take your bend all over your invisible beach ball. Inhale, come up, frame, curl right toes under, and this time let's step our left foot back to a high plank. I always like to rinse out with a little flow, so lower. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Down dog. Paddling. Let's take our forearms to the mat and come into our dolphin. Bigger pedals. Big opening in the calf. I like moving through my dolphin. But if you're finding stillness, you might have a little extra bend in your knees. If you have tight calves, your heels might not be anywhere near the mat, and that's okay. Walk feet back. Forearm plank. You know you can always come to your knees, but I am going to have you hold here for just a beat. I want some strength in that core. And then we'll take knees down, toes uncurl. Hips down. Keep your belly engaged. Pulling your belly button into your spine. Elbows stacking over your shoulders. Our Sphinx pose. Neck nice and neutral. I'm actually going to spend a little bit of time dropping right ear up to right shoulder. And we're going to do the same on the left. Come in for one more round. Unless you'd rather find neutral in the center, it's a great place to be. I love the ear to shoulder in this pose. It just seems like a deeper neck opening to me. And then let's lower down. Hands by the sides. Chin or forehead down. We will come into a couple rounds of back bends. So complete exhale. And we're going to come into a full locust on the inhale. That means everything but the hips off the mat. It's a big pose to start. So if you don't come up very high, no big deal. Inhale, lift, draw shoulder blades, heels together. Exhale out. Inhale, lift. Exhale out. One more. And lower. Make a pillow with your hands, bend your knees. Windshield wiper. Legs long. Sticking with all that chest and shoulder opening we've been doing, reach your left fingers. I'm going to have palm down, and my fingers are in line with my shoulder. I think you can see it here on the screen. And I'm going to take a roll to my left side. I'm going to put my left temple on the mat. Automatically, my right knee wants to bend, and my foot comes to the mat. I know this doesn't work for everyone, so if you want to just lay your right leg down, that's perfectly fine. Then I like to give the option. Your right hand could be in front of you. You can take it to your back, a little half bind. That way you're opening your whole chest at the same time. If you really want to get crazy, you could reach back for your fingertips. And your fingers don't have to touch. The reach back itself can get you a big opening in the chest. You listen to your body. Inhale, fill up. Exhale, come on to your belly. Chin or forehead down. I'm going to take my hands overhead this time. I'll let you in on a secret. I do not like this locust posed variation. Not even a little bit, but we're supposed to do the poses we don't like, and I know it's making my back stronger. So same thing. Exhale. Inhale everything up, but this time with hands overhead. To me, this pose feels so much harder, but I'm going to keep inhaling up. I'm going to keep squeezing my heels towards one another. Strong back, exhaling length. Inhaling lift. One more. Two more. You got this. And lower. Pillow with the hands. Bend. Windshield wiper for the low back. And then I'm going to take my right arm long, my palm down, my right cheek to the mat, and I'm going to roll. So here's how it looks from the opposite side. Sometimes I offer, you can put your left hand right in front, a little extra support and stability. You can come to the low back again, or you could reach for your fingers. Big open chest, a place to just focus on breath. So oftentimes when we're in hip openers, I'll tell you that these are our emotional stores, our hips, right? And sometimes we're letting go of built-up emotions when we take a hip opener. The shoulders, the throat, the chest is how we express ourselves if you're into the chakras. So you have tight shoulders, and you've also been experiencing a little difficulty expressing yourself. That's what you might need to be opening. So one more inhale. Exhale, come on down. We are going to go into a third and final back bend. Well, actually, it would be our fourth since we did take that Sphinx pose before. Don't worry, we'll even it out and take a fifth. But I'm going to have you come back to locust for this one. Chin or forehead down, arms by sides. Exhale. Inhale, come up. I always like to pair that hands overhead locust with a regular old locust. So if you wanted to interlace your fingers, it could be fun. Because for me, I see the difference. I feel so much stronger when I come into this third after taking that one with hands over the head. Big inhale. Drawing heels, shoulder blades together. One more breath. Oh, Lord. Pillow, windshield wiper. And you know I'm always going to pair those back bends with a child's pose. Some big release and opening for the back. Forehead down. Focusing on breathing, on opening up the spine. How's the back feeling now? Checking in with the whole body. And then just focusing on breathing. Inhale, come up, tabletop. We're going to go into pigeons, and I always give you the option for when I am going to have you fold over your pigeon to instead take it on your back. So if you know that you don't like to come to down dog and find this variation of pigeon, head to your back. So if you are going to come up to down dog, by all means, spread through your fingers, maybe take one more pedal, drop right knee behind right wrist, left knee down, keeping foot active as you take your peek back, line your heel with your seat, drop knee. Playing with the front leg, how parallel you want the shin to the front of the mat, maybe a little, maybe not at all, maybe give your foot a flex, evenly distribute the weight, take your fold. If you come into this morning and you say, ooh, not this morning, not for my knees, not for my hips, flip onto your back. Same stretch, taken two different ways. Everyone has their favorite. It just depends on their body and what gives them the deeper stretch. This morning I will be folding over. You listen to your body. If you're folded, evenly distributing the weight between the hips, relaxing, making a little pillow with your head. Inhaling deeply into the hip. Exhaling away anything you'd like to leave behind here on your mat. I Are you focused on your intention? Are you in the here and present? Never worrying if your mind wanders off. You know that our practice is in coming back to present. Two more breaths here, yogis. And then the inhale takes you to palms, or the exhale lowers your left foot to the mat if you're on your back. You're stepping back to downward facing. If you're on your back, you're taking windshield wipers to find your release. A counter pose for every pose. If you folded and you want to lift your leg and open your hip, really it's whatever feels good for you. So your options: left knee dropping behind left wrist, right knee down. Finding that strong, safe setup. And even if you folded over on the right, nothing strange about coming to your back on the left. Things change from side to side in our bodies. And as long as we're listening to what our body wants in that moment, then you are doing yoga exactly right. Take a little check, make sure that leg is straight behind you. Make sure the weight is evenly distributed between the hips. And fold, or pull a leg towards you if you're on your back. Taking this hold for breath, for the intention you found at beginning of class, to find almost a bit of a meditation here. Yes. Alright, let's inhale up to our palms, or exhale now our right foot to the mat. Stepping back into a final downward facing dog, or if you're on your back, planting feet and taking a windshield wiper. Take whatever you need in each pose, wherever you're at on the back or in downward facing, some time to release. If you're on your back, hang out because the down dogs are coming to meet you. We're dropping knees, rolling onto seat. If you're not near a wall and you're coming down, you might want to get near a wall. We are going to come into inversions in a moment. First, we're going to balance things out with a little inside hip opener. And then keep in mind, we're going to come to inversions. So we're going to take soles together once we find our way to the back and knees apart. We're going to find our reclined Supta Konasana. I like to bring my right hand to my belly and my left over my heart, and I like to feel my breath. Before you get too lost in breath, though, I want you to take note of the low back. This pose should arc your low back off the mat, but we've been doing quite a bit to open our low back. So how does this feel? How did the hips feel? Could you be softer in the face? Are you focusing just on your breathing or on your intention? Has your mind wandered off? You know it's okay if it has. Just bring it back in. Take your hands to the outsides of your knees and now guide your legs back together. I'm going to rinse out the hips with a little windshield wiper. And then plant the soles. So I haven't been coming into a lot of inversions in these online classes, and I really want to because inversions are so calming and so good for your central nervous system. So, wall. For those of us wanting to keep it simple and take a legs up the wall. Resting heels, knees are soft. A little reverse of blood flow. Even if you don't have a wall right near you, you could just bring your legs up. Sometimes you'll even see people bring the backs of their hands under their low back. That's your option if you don't have a wall. And for those of you with a shoulder stand in your practice, or who think they might want a shoulder stand in your practice, I can't stress to you enough. Try not to move your neck if you're going to play with coming in this pose, just facing the ceiling. And then we use some core, and I get a little help from my hands to stack hips right over shoulders. Use the core, try and extend your toes up. And then walk your elbows together behind you. If at any point you feel unsafe, come to the legs of the wall. And you can see how much this changes my pose in the morning. I don't quite have that good stack because I'm a little stiff still, even with all that back opening. So if you're in a shoulder stand and you want to play with bringing your toes overhead, finding plow, you could. See, my toes don't even touch this morning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the variation I always offer, which is bending knees and resting them on the forehead. I'm still getting an awesome stretch in my back, but I'm making it more accessible since my back is so tight in the morning. For those of you who have toes behind head and you're touching, you can play with interlacing your fingers. You can play with dropping your knees by your ears. If you're in legs up the wall, you're just breathing. Shoulder stand. Or I should say plows come back up through a shoulder stand. How's it feel now? And lower hips down nice and slow. Legs at the wall. Take your legs off the wall. We're all going to be on our backs with bent knees. Take all the time you need to get there from your poses. We're just finding neutral here. Whew. Then let's collectively draw our knees in together. Once we've found neutral, nice big hug. Extend legs long. For everyone who took a shoulder stand, I'll come back up a little higher. And even if you took legs up the wall, palms down. I prefer to sit on the backs of my hands, though you could just have hands near the seat. We're going to inhale to elbows. Walk our elbows together, draw our shoulder blades together. Open up the chest. Sort of reminiscent of that humble warrior before we folded, huh? Crown reaching to the top of the mat. Walk those shoulder blades together. Inhale, look ahead. Oh, lower. Out of that fish pose. Knees come in. Hug, rock. Now the counter pose. For everyone who took legs up the wall, a happy baby. Also just an all-around excellent pose. Rocker stillness. Knees into chest, a hug, exhale, squeeze, set knees to the right. Little ending twist, we're going to keep it simple today. Left knee on right, I am going to reach my fingers. Well, you could keep it simple, left knee on right. If you wanted to cross left over, by all means. You're looking to the ceiling or taking a little look to the left. Rinsing out the spine with a twist. What do you want to let go of here? What do you want to wring out? Bring your head center. If your legs are crossed, uncross, tuck your knees in. Exhale, a hug, squeeze, a rock. And then set knees to the left. So you can keep right on top of left, or you could cross it over. Fingers are reaching, facing the ceiling for neutral. Look to the right if it would feel nice in your neck. Head center, legs uncrossed, they tuck into chest. A final rock and squeeze. And then a release to Savasana, final resting. Let everything relax to the mat. Take a little scan through the body. I'm noticing some differences after that practice. I feel like I could sink into my mat just a little easier. Turning every muscle off like a light switch, clicking, releasing. thoughts are slow and steady. Completely in the present moment. Inhale, awareness deep into the body. Another big inhale. Movements into the furthest reaches, the lowest extremities. The furthest, I should say. Get the creaks, the pops out. Stretch. Create so much length. Oh, come into Monday a little taller than you started at. Come on to your right. Pause. And press up. Yogis, as always, thank you for sharing your practice, and namaste.